Hello, I'm choosing to do my review on ethical or unethical business behavior on some of the largest pharmaceutical companies that exist today. To me, these companies get away with some of the most unethical behaviors out of any business that I could think of. I will start with the way companies like Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and many more go about advertising the products that they produce. One example that comes to mind is when Johnson & Johnson was promoting the antipsychotic drug Risperdal for uses that it was never actually approved for. They promoted that the drug would treat dementia and also help kids who have behavioral disorders, and this drug was never actually approved or proven to do either of those things. They made over $3 billion off of this drug in 1 year. And unfortunately, as a result of those who took this drug, many people developed worsening and severe side effects without improvements like the company had claimed. One of these effects included many young boys beginning to develop breasts as a result of taking the product. In the following years, the company was sued for $2 billion, which they agreed to pay, and of course, they still profited billions of dollars off of this drug even after paying up. There are countless other scenarios with similar stories. Pfizer's painkiller drug that they had promoted for use not just to deal with high levels of pain, but even small, even though it was never actually approved for that purpose and had many serious side effects. They also settled in court paying a few billion due to patients dealing with heart attacks and strokes as a result of the drug. It sounds a little more serious than the everyday painkiller they marketed that it could be used as. This unethical, misleading information regarding products that these companies produce also fueled the opioid crisis in the United States. This is only one area that these companies participate in very unethical business practices. Another area that should be mentioned is that these companies use their immense power and money to influence people in our healthcare system to push products in return for compensation. That is about as unethical as it gets. The large businesses are able, in some cases, to directly pay doctors for prescribing their drugs to patients. Many of these payments fall under consultant fees and other methods, and there are many cases where doctors are caught taking thousands a year in cash directly from these pharma companies. And in some of these cases, they are then criminally charged, and doctors have been found to put their names on research papers that they had no part of in exchange for money. The company Novartis was actually fined over $600 million for paying doctors to attend lavish dinners under the pretense of medical discussions, while really rewarding them for prescribing their drugs. Is it a coincidence that these doctors who are receiving this education from places funded by pharma companies are then being taught how the drugs that these companies produce and profit on are the best solution to cure the patient's ailments? Sounds like a serious conflict of interest to me. Unethical seems like an understatement with how these pharma companies seem to operate. Let me give one more example of just how unethical these companies can be. These companies also fund and control many of the safety studies done on their products. They pour massive amounts of money and promotion into research that promotes all the positives that these drugs can do and how totally safe they are for people of all ages, while at the same time using their influence to kill any research that might suggest otherwise. In other words, they fund research that exaggerates the positive and try to silence anything that would be bad for business. An example of them falsifying safety studies happened when GlaxoSmithKline, or GSK, another massive pharma company, was caught ghostwriting studies for Paxil, falsely claiming it was effective and safe for teenagers, even when data showed increased suicide risk, among other serious effects. The people in charge of making sure our products are safe and effective are being incentivized by big pharma companies to push things out in a market at rapid paces. The point of this all isn't me saying that none of the products these companies produce are effective and safe, because I think a lot probably are. However, the way they go about running their businesses are extremely unethical, and I could go on and on about how these companies get away with profiting on others' misfortune, but I will leave it here. Thank you.